It never ends, does it? It never ends. So this is according to Variety, another website that I like is good at breaking down things. Here we go. Kevin Hart has reiterated that he will not host the Oscars again. Kevin Hart was due to host the 2019 Oscars, but stepped down after an outcry over previous anti-gay tweets and comments he'd made during stand-up routines a decade ago. He later told Variety that he'd never do it again and is sticking to his stance. Speaking to Sky News, Kevin Hart said, "Whatever little hope you had, I want to destroy it right now. Those gigs aren't good gigs for comics. It's no shot to the Oscars, no shot to the Globes or anything else. Those just aren't comedy-friendly environments anymore. I think they got it right one year where it was like a bunch of personalities acting as the host, and that's a nice thing. It's a collaborative thing. Different people get to be responsible for act one, act two, act three. But the days of it being a room for a comic, those days are done." Now, before I go on with the rest of that, let me just say that I'm sure at least 95 to 99% of you are already aware of this. But to the 1 to 5% of you who may not be aware, what they're referring to is, and Dave Chappelle talked about this in his 2019 special, that apparently there were some old tweets of Kevin Hart's that resurfaced. And I was actually trying to look for the tweet, but I can't find it because maybe they took it down or maybe he took it down out of, I don't know. But it was along the lines of, hey, if I caught my son doing some type of acting in some type of homosexual way or exhibiting some type of homosexual behaviors, I would say, no, stop, that's gay. And I would smash a dollhouse over his head. And people got upset about that. Now, he tweeted that back in, I think he tweeted that somewhere around 2010, 2011, maybe even 2012. And my thing about it is, first of all, who even takes a joke like that seriously? Dave Chappelle said it best. In order to smash a dollhouse over a kid's head, that means you have to buy them a dollhouse to begin with to then smash it over their head. But people are looking at it saying, oh, that's offensive. That's offensive. You can't say that. And it's like, look, I don't know who decided why did that tweet all of a sudden become visible? So listen, he was going to host the Oscars in 2019. He tweeted this in about 2010-ish. What made them go back 9 years and say, let me look for his old tweets and let's see if he said anything offensive. And if he says something offensive, we're going to have to cut him. What the heck? What happened? What happened? Listen, people, I've said this before, and I'll say it again, and I say this on almost every video I do where I talk about comedians. I am a liberal. I'm a left-winger, and I'm respectful of the LGBT community. I'm not like a strong advocate for them. I'm not out there holding the flags for them or anything like that. But listen, if you're a real fan of comedians, you're a real fan of comedy, you should understand that almost all comedians, they make fun of pretty much everybody. Look, I said this in the last video, and I'm going to say it again. All comedians, especially black comedians, they joked about black people, and guess what? They got black fans. I mean, obviously, most of them are going to have mostly black fans. I mean, they're black comedians, so of course that goes without saying. They make jokes about white people. Guess what? They have white fans. Some black comedians have more white fans than others, but that's beside the point. They make fun of Republicans. I'm sure they got some Republican fans. For some of them, I don't think a whole lot. I don't think D.L. Hughley has many Republican fans, but that's beside the case. I don't think him or somebody like Steve Harvey, people like that, Cedric, I don't know that they have people going to their shows who wear Republican merchandise. I don't know. They make fun of Mexicans. They make fun of Asians. They got Mexican and Asian fans. They make fun of Jewish folks. They got Jewish fans. What I don't understand, even as a liberal, is what is it about the gay community that they just feel that they're the only ones who should be untouched from comedy? I just say, if you're an equal opportunity offender, it's okay if you make fun of everybody. Everybody. And by the way, I've noticed that they only hit comedians with this. They don't do this a lot with, and I don't know if it's different, but they don't do this a lot with TV shows And I talk on this show all the time about adult cartoons. You know, Family Guy, South Park, The Simpsons. They make those jokes all the time. They never went after them. They make jokes, Saturday Night Live and the late night comedians, they've done this. They're only going after comedians for this. I don't understand that. I don't get that. Hart, who has previously hosted the BET Awards, the MTV Video Music Awards, and the MTV Movie Awards, praised his fellow comics who have had successful hosting gigs. He said, shout out to those who have cracked the code and done it right early on. You know, the Chris Rocks of the world, the Billy Crystals of the world, the girls we've had like Tina Fey, Amy Poehler, Ricky Gervais. There's a lot of people that can understand that if you're not an industry comic, meaning a comic that has the relationships of all, then those rooms are very cold. So me doing it is, of course, at an advantage because I know the room and for me and familiar with so many people. But for others, it's not the same. He said, it's not the gig that it was of old. It's too much pressure on the idea of a comic and what's jokes and what's not jokes and what's not jokes. So it's tough. And so, I mean, I don't know. I mean, listen, I give him respect for standing by his stance, and it's just ridiculous. If you make fun of one group, then it should be all right to make fun of essentially all groups. And listen, what the LGBT community has to understand, and this is not offensive for me to say this, what they have to understand is if black people can sit there and laugh at black jokes, if white people can sit there and laugh at white jokes, if Mexicans and Asians and all them, if they can laugh at the Mexican and Asian jokes, if Republicans can laugh at Republican jokes and Democrats can laugh at Democrat jokes, if each group and each set if they can laugh at the thing that is making fun of them, why can't the LGBT do the same thing? What are they saying about you that's so bad that they haven't already said about blacks and whites? So, I don't get it. But hey, he stood by his stance and listen. But hey, Kevin's successful. I mean, he's still making his money. He's still got his millions and millions of fans across the globe. He can sell out places like Madison Square Garden. He can sell out the football stadium, the Lincoln Financial Field, I think it's called, in Philly. And sell out the O2 Arena in London. I think Kevin Hart is just fine where he's at. So he'll be all right.